my name's Richard Weeks. I'm a indie developer. I've worked in games for about 20 odd years and went indie a few years ago. So, Indie 2.0 was sort of something that's come up by Natalie and then I've sort of expanded upon. But it's the idea that nowadays sort of indie's moved on. I mean, indie isn't really just about making games anymore. When I started getting into games in the 80s, indie very much was you made games and then you sold them. You quite often sold them at a car boot sale, or you went to a publisher and they went, yeah, we quite like that, we'll make 500 cassettes and give you some money. That was indie. You made games and you released them, that's it. But the market has massively changed. And now I just don't think it's about making the game anymore. I mean, it's much more about the whole sort of indie community and how you sort of work within it. So yeah, so there's a little bit of background. I started Total Monkery in 2012. I've worked, as I say, 20 years in games. I used to be a contractor before I started up, so I've worked on lots of other indie games for indie companies as well, and I've worked on a lot of commercial titles. I've worked on a lot of good games, and I've worked on a lot of drops. And we're a proper family business, which is quite unusual. We found about another 2 or 3, so we are, you know, that works really well because you can exploit families. They'll work for lower wages, they'll work longer hours. Yeah, it's a great thing to do.
No wages.
So our plan was we didn't just want to make another Angry Birds, another Flappy Birds. We wanted to try and do something interesting. So we wanted to do engaging games, you know, had an interesting gameplay or, you know, something interesting about it. And we wanted to keep client work at a minimum, because as an indie, obviously, you're going to get some client work offered to you. And the problem with client work is you can get suckered in. And we've done a bit of client work, but we sort of try and keep it to a minimum. But I mean, one thing that we have found being a modern indie is client work is a big deal. It's going to come up, and it is a good way to get some money in to do what you really want to do. The problem is, you like the money coming in, and then all of a sudden, that's all you end up doing, and we've seen a lot of people do that. And the plan initially was that we would finish off the game I've been working on part-time for about 18 months. All in XNA, good old XNA, almost a silent mechanic. So I was working on it for 18 months, it was going pretty well. This game called Iliara, and we just thought it would be great. We've got this game, it all runs, so we just thought we'd finish it off. And we started collaborating with other people, which is one of our big things that we like to do, is collaborate. But what we realised is it really didn't fit in with the way that our company was, and I think it's part of being indie as well. One thing you do, or one thing we've seen a lot is, a lot of indies just make a game, get it out, make a game, get it out, make a game, get it out. How did you think it was going to sell in the first place? Why don't you try and make something you think you've got a much better chance of selling? So the problem that we had with this game is we wanted it to be much, much better. We didn't have the money for it. So if you don't have the money for it, you've got to find it. So we started looking at the client work and things like that. So we just thought, this isn't the right game for us at the time. So we took an economic decision and we started working on another game. And this randomly came about from other things I want to talk about, like lecturing. So I give lectures at universities, art colleges, etc. And somebody randomly liked a game that I made in the 90s. So we thought, why don't we bring that back? And it turns out that people were sort of quite into this. We entered it for a competition, got runner-up, didn't get it. But we sort of decided that that was a game we were going to do. That's just a pre-alpha screenshot of the game as it currently stands, called Magnets. So as I said, it was just random. I went to a local meeting of games people, and there was a guy that ran the computer games course, and what he basically told me was universities, art colleges, schools, they are gagging for indie developers to go and talk to them. It is actually a way of making money. I get paid to do it. I get paid to basically go up and help people make games. I was actually in university yesterday. I did 3 hours basically just helping some second-year students. And I think it's really good as well because you're giving something back. You know, somebody had to teach me in the first place, so I think it's great that I can actually give it back. I don't always get paid for it, and I don't mind that. But the great thing is, what you're doing is, you're engaging with the next generation. They're going to also be your spokespeople as well. They could be testing your game, they could be doing social media about it, which we've already started seeing as well. So I think it's a great thing. Just go to your local university, see who's there, see if they actually want to talk to some indie developers. You might find some good things come about it. And as well as that, just engaging with the students as well. Any students that I mentor, I allow to come in and do an office visit. We have ideas as well where we're going to get them in and we're actually going to get them to make games. We would work collaboratively with them. We would get them to make a game and release it. So rather than just come in, work on our game for free, let's make a game. Let's make a game with you. Let's make you learn. We'll release it and then you'll see how well it sells and things like that. And it also could be your next employees. So it makes really good sense if you want to be taking on people in the future, start trying to help them now. We think this is a big thing of indies at the moment, is that I've met a lot of indies that don't maybe know as much as they should about game development, and I think that's failing in probably maybe the education they had or just the amount of information that's out there. So we, as much as possible, try and get the information out there. We try and collaborate. So we collaborate with students, they come in, but as well as that, we as much as possible try and go to every single games meeting that we find locally. X-Play's our local one, I don't know if anybody's heard of it, it's sort of doing pretty well in the southwest. We've pretty much been to every single one, and we've got artists, designers, musicians, they collaborate with us and they basically work for nothing on the proviso that they'll get something at the end of the game. And we help them out. Quite often they might want a bit of help in actually making a game, writing a bit of music, and I'd like to get some graphics going with it. We'll help them out. It's that sort of collaborative process. So, as well as that, we also collaborate with other people on a business point of view. So, I mean, quite often, if you're an indie, if you start talking to other indies, you might have an idea about something. And we have that as well. We basically started talking to a friend that I remember years ago who's an indie dev as well. And he had an idea for some technology, so we thought, well, let's give it a go. We raised a bit of money, we made some technology, got a bit of client work off of it. And it was great, it brought in some money. But what it really brought in is it sort of taught us how to be more business-minded. Because I see a lot of young indies coming in, and you can get into problems with money. You've really got to work out where you're going to get that next round of money. And I have to say, I'm rubbish at business. I'm a programmer. I don't want to do the business, but if someone's got to do it in your company, and any sort of little bits of mentoring help you can get, I found it been massively, massively useful. And this is what we got from it, more so anything else, just the sort of business help that we got from it. It also made us think that we didn't just want to get games out quickly. We didn't just want to go, we've got 2 weeks, we just want to get a game out. Because, it will probably just fail. It will just disappear, there'll be no PR behind it, and it probably wouldn't be that great. People would pick it up and they wouldn't want to pay any money for it. So we had this idea of what we called the long game. So the developmental long game for us is, rather than rushing a game to the market, we want to basically make all the sort of bits of tools, the bits of tech, things that we could share between all the games, and basically make a game, make that technology while we're making a game. So we're sort of funding it, and the great thing was, we did it on client work. So we basically built all of our tools and technology by doing some client work. So it's essentially free. So we use that all the time. The client doesn't have any ownership of it, and it massively saves us time, and we use it in every single game that we have. And we use Unity, yeah, although frankly, unless they drop the prices, we might go over it. We love Unity, we think it's great, but it's got some real sort of problems with it. A couple of little things you want to stick on top of it and massively help you out. So that's basically what we've done. And as I say, we'd rather spend the time on the product we believe we can sell. I mean, we have a lot of games, partly in production. But, they're probably not right. We want to make a game that we can develop well, but also release well, which comes with a lot of things that we can talk to Natalie about, which is like PR. So the big thing that we realised was you sort of work in a vacuum. Because I'm rubbish at Twitter. I can do a bit of Facebook, I don't mind that, do a bit of blogging. Can't stand Twitter, just don't like it at all. So we met Natalie a while back and we really started talking about PR help, and I think it's invaluable nowadays. Just to sort of get the message out there and get sort of a web presence going. So one thing that we have is we have an audit, so basically we know exactly what our web presence is. So as well as having the game that we know we want to make, that we know we can make because we've got the money to do it, we also need to know, well, okay, who's sort of seeing this game? You know, will it actually sell when it gets out there? So this is something we're sort of doing now. And the best thing we've learned is that you are your best PR. You pay £6,000 to a PR agency, and they'll get you some great copy made, and they'll get you an advert here and an advert there. You know, is that the right thing to do? Isn't it better that you do it yourself? You go to these sorts of meetings, you get people to play your game. Word of mouth, it's like a spider. You just, more and more people are going to find out about it. It's much better than sort of doing targeted advertising. We were offered some targeted advertising recently and didn't even bother with it. I guess most people know about the UKTI passport to export. Everybody knows about it because it's known as the free money. Basically, if you want to go abroad and you want to go to a game show, they'll give you lots of money. It's free money. So initially, that's why we joined. And again, what sort of happened was it gave us access to huge amounts of resources. So, for instance, the advice that we got for the UKTI helped us on a grant proposal we were doing, and without his help, we wouldn't have got it. So it's as simple as that. And we actually learned a huge amount about business just from going to one of these things, and I'd heartily recommend that. I think it's like 500 quid plus VAT. You know, you can get the trips abroad and stuff, but I think it's just invaluable as a sort of a business help. We've been to, oh god, we went to a web one, I think we've been to a few other ones as well. You can get money help, get your website translated, things like that. There's lots and lots of good stuff, so UKTI. And what we really learned from that as modern indies is it's not just about the game anymore. What we need to start doing is selling ourselves. So what sort of skills do you have as an indie developer? Are there things that you could be selling to other people? So don't just think client work. Client work, you know, do stuff for other people. What if you're like really helping other companies? There are lots of companies out there that maybe don't quite know what they're doing, or they're very, very green and they need help. There are lots and lots of companies out there, and the UKTI helped us target where we're going to go. Where we're going actually is China, because we think there's a lot of market availability in China to start helping them out. Burrowing games industry, you know, it's coming up. Much, much better to go there than a place that's got huge amounts of huge amounts of game developers where the competition is really, really high. Go somewhere where there's less competition, you've got a better chance. So don't just think of making games, think of selling the skills of making games. And we're actually liaising now with the local university. So the local university has a relationship with various Chinese universities, and now I'm actually helping them, or I'm going to be helping them actually do their course. So they're going to sell a course to China. I'm going to help them get I'm doing a Unity course for them. And the great thing then is obviously my name is attached, so when we go to China, there's the possibility of actually getting some extra work out there as well. So it's all these little things where you just start building up relationships, and you never know what comes out of them. The ups and downs of free money. So we got a Games Lab grant. We were one of the people in the Southwest that got the grant, and it's been great. Basically, I can't say how much it was, but it's a good chunk of the game, the money that we need to make the game. And that's fantastic. We've also gone for multiple TSBs. So, you know, we've sort of done our time in getting grants, and there are a huge amount of grants out there. If you look around, there's a lot of grants. They will help you out, will help you get your game done. The other thing as well is they'll help you get more business minded, because they're not just going to throw money at you. They're going to want to see that you sort of know what you're doing, and it'll just sort of help you grow as a business, really. So free money, great. Yeah, not all the time. the problem with getting free money is they always want something in return. And the main thing that we found is our time. So I would say we've done TSB grants, and I'd say they take about a week to 2 weeks to submit. Our Games Lab one probably took about a week as well. And since we've got the Games Lab money, which is great, you just get money going into your bank account, it's fantastic. But I'd say we've since then spent 3 weeks literally just dealing with the paperwork. So it's great, but you have to remember that they're going to want something back from it. So you need to devote time to it. So what we do is we sort of split up the work, and some people do some of the work, some people do the other. So where's this left us? We don't just see ourselves as game makers. For instance, I'm a programmer. I probably spend about 20% of my time programming now. The other 80% is spent lecturing, preparing for lecturing, business. I tend to do all sorts of IT support and stuff like that. So it's not just about the game anymore, it's everything else. We collaborate a lot. We have a lot of people that we work with, and in turn we're helping them. We have an artist who we've collaborated with recently. He's come on with us. We've actually ended up contracting for him a little bit. And now he's got his game on his own, and we're going to help him back. It's sort of, it's sort of a two-way street, really. And we've really tried as many ways to bring in money as possible. The lecturing is one thing. You can get various sorts of people want to know. They want like an expert in the field quite often. And you sort of find these via these various sort of business meetings. And it's just little bits of money here and there, helps you out. So we don't chase every opportunity. I think as indies, quite often if you see money being dangled in front of you, you're going to go for it. And the problem is, you've got to think about how long it's going to take to get that money, and also, how long is it going to take to get that money? They're going to want something for it. So it might take you 3 weeks of work to get that money. Was it worth it? You just basically have to balance it up. So we turn down stuff all the time. And it does mean, we don't have as much money as we'd like to, but we have a lot more focus in what we're doing. And I think that is the problem with indies, is focus. And we're working to get our first game out in August. I mean, we're very small. There's 3 core development team and 1 part-time business person. We basically all work on everything. So we have an artist that does all social media. She can write copy, which is fantastic, and pleases Natalie no end. She basically does a lot graphically. And then we have a programmer. He does the design, he does the programming, he can also do art. So I think that's another thing as an indie, it's sort of doing a lot. And another thing I've done to incentivize them is basically say, well, why don't you become producers as well? So, actually take responsibility. And the big thing that we want to do is tell Monkery as game makers is everybody that works for us, basically, they're not just going to do their job, they're going to have to do a bit of everything. So we're going to expect that we've just taken on a new artist, starting in about a week. He doesn't yet know it, but he's going to be doing a lot more tweeting. So it's the sort of thing, we try and get everybody to do more than their role, because then they feel like the game and the company is a lot more of their own. They don't just feel like employees. So that's it, really. So my leading thoughts are try to think beyond just making games. I mean, yeah, fine, you're an indie games company, that's what you should be doing. You should be making games. But it's tough business, you need money, there are other ways to earn money, and with money you can do what you want. I mean, we would love a huge chunk of money to drop in our laps so that we can do exactly what we want. Hasn't happened so far, still hoping. But we're just going to go out, we're going to find little bits of money, and we're basically going to do what we want to do. And you'll notice I say make awesome products, not make awesome games. It's not just about the game, it's the product, it's the PR, it's the business management that goes into it all. I think, doing that well is as good as doing the game well. And it's something that, we're sort of trying to strive to do. And the business manager at my company has basically told me another thing that indie companies should always do is self-promotion. And so with that in mind, I'd like to show you a trailer of our game. Any questions? Yep.
Yeah, I have two questions. Firstly, thank you for the presentation. Really good. How do you choose where to lecture? And have feedback from students affected your way of thinking about games or your design?
I randomly bumped into a lecturer at our local university, and in fact, here's the weird thing, I randomly bumped into two lecturers at two different universities, and the one that got back to me first is the one that I'm lecturing at. The other one still hasn't got back to me, but we might end up doing something with them in the future. But since doing this, and then also making sure that it's on LinkedIn, everything that I do, as soon as I put up as an associate lecturer, I got another job offer. And it is this thing that people really, really want information from the indie game desk. So, you know, as soon as you start doing one, it just sort of all, you know, comes in. And I'd say from students, yeah, I mean, I say so far, I've learned a lot teaching them. Because when I've been lecturing them, I'm lecturing them about Unity, and the weird thing is I'm not the Unity expert in our company. Our programmer is, I'm the technologist. So I've actually had to learn a load of extra Unity stuff that I never knew before. Coroutines, never really used those before, but had to learn them because the students wanted to learn. And one thing I've done to the students is, if they can't do something because they think it's hard, I'll quite often write them code, or I'll actually give them code from one of our games, and then just go, there you go, have fun with it. Because I don't mind too much. I'm not too worried about our technology. I'm quite happy to hand out bits and pieces.
You mentioned that your company writes systems and code that sit on top of or with Unity and work together with it. Do you make use of the Unity Asset Store to sell those to make more money?
Oh yeah. We haven't yet sold anything on the Unity Asset Store, but we have plans. What we've basically done is any sort of thing that you get problems cross-platform wise, so you know, Android, iOS, PC problems, so you know, touchscreen, mouse, keyboard, joypads. We wrote an input manager that takes any joypad, any mouse, keyboard, touch, whatever, and it brings it into a single input system. So you can plug in joypads, plug them out, and it just picks it up and it works any amount of joypads. We're probably going to sell it because we think there's a market for it, so we've yet to do it. But in actually buying stuff for the asset store, oh yeah, we buy a huge amount of stuff from the asset store to save time. Mix them out, fantastic. You need 3D animations for your game. Basically rig your character, and then you can go to Mixamo and you can buy individual animations. So our little main character It's got 3 animations that we bought in. It's like $50, something like that. Fantastic. Loads of particle systems we've bought in. We've done all the modelling, all the texturing. The music, by the way, was one of our collaborators who also recently worked on the latest Jeff Minter game. And again, you know, for the Jeff Minter game, if you work for nothing, he gets a bit of money off the soundtrack. For us, he'll get money at the end of the game, and he's sort of happy to do this. But yeah, assets always great for him, but we haven't looked at selling it.
Thank you.
That's it.